morning po sa inyong lahat, no? Kung mapapansin po ninyo, mag-isa ako. So si Hoki-chan po tsaka si Riri-chan iniwan ako, no? Pupunta silang Costco ngayon kasama yung nanay niya. So sasamantalayin natin itong pagkakataon na to, may mga gagawin tayo. So tara, simulan natin to. Let's go! Malalim yata ron. Yan, nakikita niyo ba yun? Yan. Nakikita niyo ba yan? Yan. Kakausapin natin yan. Let's go! Hindi malalim. Jay, isn't it deep? Isn't it dangerous, Jay? Kayak here. So ayun na nga, at meron tayong interview ngayon, no? Ayan, kaibigan natin si Jay.
Are you playing now?
Yeah, playing now. Let's start.
Oh yeah, we'll just finish this.
Okay.
I'll be there in a second. Just stay there.
Yeah. I'll just get my beer.
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
Thank you. This is actually good, right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Oh, it's all right though.
Yeah, that's it here. So ayun, at andito tayo ngayon sa river, Kawa in Japanese, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So ayun, at meron tayong i-interviewin, no? Pangalan niya is Jay. Yan, si Jay. Yan, kaibigan natin, taga New Zealand. So Jay.
Hey, hi there.
Yeah.
I'm yeah, you call me Jay.
Yeah.
What's my full name? Wade Jason Jenkins, and Wade is difficult to pronounce for Japanese people.
Yeah.
So I took the J from Jason and the J from Jenkins and made it JJ.
Yeah.
So you can call me JJ or J, or if anything's okay.
That's easier, right?
Yeah.
Jay.
Not,
for Japanese.
Not
yeah?
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Kamukha ni Bruce Willis, no?
Yeah. Not Bruce Willis,
yeah.
eh?
Inimbita lang tayo ni Jay. Jay invited us here in this river, no? Jay. He usually comes here. Every when, Jay? Every week?
In the summertime, maybe every day, every second day.
Every second day?
Yeah.
Really?
I'll come down for a swim.
Yeah.
Been here many times.
It's a good time to relax too, right?
Yeah. But it's always surprising because I'm from New Zealand. If you go to a river in New Zealand, there'll be people everywhere swimming and jumping off the rocks and all sorts of things. But you come here in Japan and no one's here.
Yeah, right. So Jay is from New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been living here, Jay, in Japan?
I first came 2000. First time I came to Japan was 2002.
2002.
From New Zealand.
You were single that time.
Yeah.
You were still single that time.
Yeah. And I worked in Tokyo at an English conversation school for 1 year.
For a year.
For 1 year. Yeah.
Then
I went back to I moved from New Zealand to Australia too, because my mother lives in Australia. So I went back there for another couple of years, then came back again and worked for the same company in Japan in Osaka.
You know, Osaka?
Osaka, yeah. So
and how long did you stay there?
Just for another year.
Just for another year, yeah.
Then went back for a couple of years to Australia again, then came back a third time to Hiroshima.
Hiroshima?
Yeah, where the bomb hit.
Yeah.
Hiroshima, I was there for around 6 months.
6 months. And what did you do there?
I was working for the same company.
For the same
English conversation
English
school.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And around that time, I met my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Hiroshima.
Mm-hmm.
But for work, I had to move to Yamaguchi, which is the prefecture below Hiroshima.
Mm.
So I moved there. So we sort of had it's not that far away, but sort of a long distance relationship for a bit. And then a year or so later, we ended up getting married.
Mm-hmm. Just to make it clear, Jay, how many wives do you have?
Just the one.
Just
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
I
yeah.
only have one. Okay. And
Just the one. She's from the Philippines
yeah,
too.
from the Philippines, and her
Yeah.
name is
Her name's Mercedita.
yeah, Mercedita.
For short, Mercy.
Mercy for short. So,
Mercy.
and have you been to the Philippines?
I've been to the Philippines about four or five times.
So,
Yeah.
how's Philippines?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, yeah. Well, we bought a place in Manila,
Yeah,
in Masinag.
Masinag.
Yeah.
What's the name of that place? Antipolo?
It's around Antipolo area.
Yeah, it's around Antipolo.
That was probably over 10 years ago now. We bought that place.
Mhm.
And
Are you planning to stay in the Philippines for good? If I mean, after you retire here.
we're not sure yet.
Mm.
But we did recently, or a year or so ago, we bought some land somewhere outside of Manila. I haven't actually seen it yet, but my wife organized it. So we've got some land there, which is by the beach. So yeah, perhaps in the future,
But
we'll head over there and maybe build something on it,
yeah.
and could retire there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to retire in the Philippines because everything is cheap, right?
Yeah.
Compared to Japan.
Yeah.
How about in New Zealand? Is it cheap to live in New Zealand?
No, it's not. Recently, the rent is so expensive, and I've heard groceries at the supermarket are close to unaffordable. Some people can't afford to pay rent. I've heard people are sleeping in their cars, things like that.
Really?
Yeah. And the rent is, say, in Japan, you might pay
50,000
on average 50,000 yen a month. You would pay that in New Zealand at least for just 1 week.
Just a week?
Just a week.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's too expensive.
Yeah. So
How about the salary in New Zealand compared to Japan? Is it higher?
Slightly higher maybe, but because the rent is so expensive, it sort of cuts it out. So yeah. Whereas I think in Japan the money hasn't changed. The salary, I was getting paid probably more when I first came to Japan in 2002, doing pretty much the same job, more than I'm getting now.
Yeah.
The money's even gone down, I think, in Japan. I was talking to a Japanese person. They said what's the story with Japan? Because the salary hasn't changed for like 30
How many
years.
13 years?
30
years.
Yeah.
It's hard to live here if you're a foreigner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unlike the locals, they do get yearly, what do you call that? Yearly increase in their salary, right?
Increase.
Yeah, and they do have bonuses, something like that.
Yeah.
Unlike us, eh?
Yeah, but the place I first worked for, I was getting about 250,000 yen per month. Then the next year it went up to 260. Then the next year went to 270.
That's in Tokyo.
Went to 270. So it was 250 in Tokyo, 260 in Osaka, then 270 in Hiroshima. But after that, I started working for the public schools. That's where they have these sort of dodgy companies that sort of get the job for you from in connection with the BOE, the Board of Education.
Yeah.
So these companies sort of take half of the money.
The dispatch company, right?
Yeah, the dispatch companies.
Yeah.
So probably it's the lowest salary, I think, working as the ALT, the assistant language teacher in Japan, it seems.
Yeah.
And you don't get the bonus, you don't get, you know...
The yearly increase, you don't have that.
No.
Yeah. And how much do you get paid as an ALT here in Japan?
The new contract was 250,000 yen per month.
And do you know how much the dispatch company gets paid?
I've heard they get paid 400.
400,000.
400 the BOE, the Board of Education is paying the company. So they pretty much take it.
So they get 150,000 yen per head.
Yeah. or pretty much doing nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty much doing nothing. Yeah.
Well, I'll be getting sunburnt.
Yeah.
So white here.
Okay, could you tell us about the difference in your country and in Japan?
The difference.
Yeah. What do you think are the difference?
Well, obviously, the culture is a lot different because Japanese people, sort of the way it works here. I'm not saying people aren't friendly, but
Hmm?
it's, in New Zealand, you might bump into someone in the street
Mhm.
and sort of just start talking, or if you go to a shop, a convenience store, anywhere,
Mhm.
you might start a conversation with the person working there, and
Mhm.
you know. But in Japan, if you try doing that, if you ask someone how they are,
Mhm.
we just went to the convenience store just not long ago.
Yeah.
If we'd asked them like, how are
How are
you?
you? Yeah,
If we'd
something like
asked
that. Yeah.
Genki desu ka, and
Yeah.
that's in Japanese. If we asked Genki desu ka,
Mm.
they would be looking at us like we're sort of
Criminals.
type thing, like complete
Yeah.
strange
Why is
foreigners.
that right?
I would think
Yeah.
so. There's a big culture difference
Yeah.
there. Not saying, of course, Japanese people are very nice and friendly.
Yeah. They are respectful, but they are
yeah.
not that friendly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. People usually confuse that, especially people who haven't been to Japan yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin, she works in a souvenir shop in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
She said to me, Wade, the worst customers that come, because in that store, people from all over the world come into her souvenir store to buy things. She said the worst customers, the rudest customers are Japanese.
Oh, really?
Because she said they'll walk into the store and she'll say to them like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she said they just completely ignore me. But I, so I had to explain to her that it's not that they're.
Did she greet them in English?
Yeah.
Or maybe that's the reason why.
Yeah. I said it's not that they're ignoring you. It's just that the culture difference. People do not speak like that in Japan. So yeah.
Kuya, could you hand me the... Kuya, paabot ng towel ni Jay.
I was just asking your brother
Yeah.
a while ago, which is hotter, the Philippines or Japan? He said, without a doubt, Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, because we came from the Philippines and it's much different. Okay, Jay.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your good and bad experiences here in Japan?
Good and bad.
Yeah. Have you experienced some?
Good and bad. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Of course, every day is good in Japan. I think it's easy to live here.
Yeah.
Perhaps compared to other countries.
Safer.
Safer, yeah. Definitely safer.
Mm-hmm. Cleaner.
Well, it seems to be quite clean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bad experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know bad experiences.
You don't have.
I don't think I really have any bad experiences. Do you have any so far since you've been here?
Yeah.
What do you have? While I'm thinking.
I'll talk about it later. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
In another vlog.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, butterfly.
Yeah. What do you like the most here in Japan?
The most?
Yeah.
I sort of personally I like the isolation. Not that I sort of don't like being around my old friends and family.
Jay, I think we should go now.
Why?
It's device overheated. Yeah, because it's exposed in the sun. Yeah. So ayun, hindi po natin natapos yung video natin kay Jay, no? Yung interview natin kay Jay, no? Kasi po gawa po nung nag-overheat yung camera natin. So nung araw po kasi na yun, no, Agosto po noon. Summer po dito sa Japan, sobrang init po noon. 40 po yata, no? Kaya yung camera natin nakabilad sa araw, camera nakabilad sa araw. So nag-overheat siya, no? So si Jay naman po, nahiya na po akong ipapilit kay Jay na tapusin namin, no? Kumbaga palamigin muna yung camera pagkatapos itutuloy. Nahiya na po akong sabihin yun dahil po si Jay, mahina po yung balat niya sa init, no? So alam niyo naman po kasi puti. Pagkatapos po, no, ang sabi ko kay Jay, mga ilang araw lang siguro, ituloy natin to. Itong interview mo na to. Sabi niya okay daw. Ang problema po, nagka-problema po ako sa schedule, no? Dahil nga po sobrang busy natin. Linggo na po ang nakalipas bago ko siya na-i-message. So nung pagka-message ko po sa kanya, umuwi naman siya ng Australia. So hindi po taga-Australia si Jay, no? Taga New Zealand po siya. Kaya lang po siya nagpunta ng Australia, binisita niya po yung kapatid niya, no? So yun, Ngayon po, ano na, fall na po. Nung ginawa po natin yung video, summer pa po no, no? So ngayon, fall. Ngayon na natin itutuloy, no? Pag-interview kay Jay. So maganda po rito, doon na po tayo sa bahay nila Jay. Kaya ko po sinasabing maganda dahil po sigurado ko, no? Lalo na po sa mga regular na viewers natin, no? Sigurado kong pamilyar sa inyo. Pamilyar sa inyo yung bahay na nabili nila Jay. So opo, no? Meron din pong sariling bahay dito si Jay. So tara na, puntahan na natin si Jay. Let's go! Yan, alam ko pong alam niyo tong bahay na to, no? Yan. Napanood nyo na to dati. Yan, bali dito po nakatira si Jay. Yan. So tara, baba na tayo. Jay, I have told my subscribers that you bought a house here in Japan. Why is that? Why did you buy a house here?
Good question. Well, we were sort of thinking whether to stay in Japan or to whether move to New Zealand or move to Australia or to the Philippines too. But we just with the prices and other, for example, Australia or New Zealand, you can't buy a house for, you know, the prices have just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's the same in the Philippines.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So they have these houses in Japan called Akiya, which are like sort of deserted, just houses that sort of people just leave as they are. So we found one that was sort of close in the town, which is this one here we're at.
This one. Yeah, this is Jay's house.
Yeah. So we just decided, because it was quite cheap, we'll buy it, and even if we don't decide to live in it or stay for a long time, we'll use it as a holiday home if we go to another country.
Good decision, right?
So that was the idea. So, but
and instead of paying for apartment, you already have your own here, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we don't have to pay rent anymore, and it's an older place, so it's fun to you know, learn how to do things, you know, fix things and try and do things up, and
And you bought this house when?
We bought it on Christmas Day last year, December 25th. We went and did a 3-hour signing, and that was it.
Yeah, a month after we bought our house, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we're probably the only foreigners that own their own houses, at least in this town.
Yeah, so we don't have a choice but to see each other always. Next question, Jay. What do you like the most here in Japan?
What do I like the most? Well, I think the people are really friendly is the wrong word. I mean, people are friendly, but also people cannot be friendly. It's the same as anywhere. But people are just kind in general, and you know, in other countries, if you walk around the streets at night time, it's a little bit dangerous. Whereas here, I mean, there would be no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The people are kind and will go out their way to help you with anything.
Yeah, if you ask for a help, and they will not stop until they finish helping, right? Right?
They finish the mission. I think Japan too. It's not so expensive as other countries because people always seem to think it's really expensive in Japan, but
a lot of people think that it's expensive here, but it's not really, right?
I think with shopping and it's a lot. It seems to be a lot cheaper because I've just been to Australia recently, like a month ago. And you know, things are just crazy over there. They're having a living crisis where you know the rents are so high that some people are sleeping in their cars and sleeping in tents and parks and things like that, and can't afford food, and there's loads of drug problems too there, which you don't get here, and you know, so it's sort of safe in general, and
just like the Philippines, drug problems.
And of course Japan's different to anywhere else, so you know, it's like a really unique country, so anywhere you go it's always a different experience.
I agree with that. How about what you hate here in Japan?
What do I hate?
What you hate the most here in Japan?
What I hate the most? I'm really fussy with food because I've grown up eating in New Zealand, eating lamb, which is not popular here, and like chips, like hot chips, you know, French fries type things. So the food probably is. I don't really like rice. I don't really like noodles. A lot of the Japanese snacks and some of the food. You know, what else? I wouldn't say I'd really hate anything. What's difficult about Japan? Maybe the language is the most. That's sort of, if you're thinking about coming to Japan, that's the big culture shock.
Because they can't really speak in English, right?
Yeah.
So it will be hard for you to communicate, especially if you don't know nothing about Japanese, right?
Yeah,
About
exactly.
Nihongo.
I was told before I came to Japan, and also before I went to the Philippines, that everyone speaks English in both countries. I found that not really
Yeah.
many people spoke English. So
Yeah.
if you're going to come to Japan, that's one of the main things that you're best to study a few words or phrases before you come,
Yeah.
because they have even with writing, you have 3 different types of writing.
Like
You got
katakana, hiragana, and kanji.
yeah. So for a start, you can't read anything.
Yeah, you can't read anything.
Yeah. This is,
So that's what you hate the most here in Japan, right?
yeah, I'd say.
Why they can't learn English, right?
I don't know. Well, I think you see a lot of the kids and some of the teachers too say that this is Japan, so why would we need English? You know, it's not needed here because it's Japan, so we speak Japanese because we're Japanese. So, so you can sort of see, and a lot of people, I mean, most people don't go overseas, and unless you're going to go and you have a dream to go and work and live overseas, a lot of people just think we don't need it. So why study it?
So why waste time, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think the Japanese people, I've heard, they only study for the tests, and once they get a good score on the test, then they forget everything after.
yeah, I agree with that. Now let's move on to, what do you think of Japanese people?
Japanese people.
Yeah.
In general, Japanese people are very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you've been to Australia. You lived in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Comparing to those countries.
Comparing the people.
Yeah, comparing the people. Yeah.
I think. Well, of course, people are generally nice in every country, but just in Japan, sort of people sort of stay to themselves, I think, and no one sort of pokes their nose in anyone's business.
Yeah.
Type of thing. There's a lot of like privacy boundaries. Which is good. Where in other countries, everyone's sort of
we call that marites in the Philippines.
Marites.
So we call them marites in the Philippines.
Oh, it's sort of another good thing living in Japan, I think, because you're isolated. It's sort of like like long-term coronavirus isolation, because sort of no one, your friends and family aren't really here, so you sort of don't get bothered.
Yeah, most of them are introverts, right?
Yeah.
Have you experienced culture shock here in Japan?
Culture shock. Yeah. I remember when I lived in Tokyo, a couple of Japanese guys invited me to a sento.
Do they speak English?
Little, yeah.
A little,
at that time. But do you know what a sento is?
No, what is sento?
It's similar to the onsen.
Okay.
Sento is like a public bath where I think mainly the elderly people go in the evenings
Okay.
and all take a bath together. But I was surprised when I got there because everyone's taking their clothes off, so you don't wear anything. So it's that's a bit of a shock. It's a big group of guys all getting naked together.
I've experienced that too here.
Yeah.
You have. And
I
was like, "Ooh, what's this?"
Yeah.
You really can't drop the soap.
Yeah.
Because someone might,
Exactly. You never know these days. Yeah. The public bath, the sento, that's a bit of a culture shock. Also, when I found at a restaurant one time eating, I think we're eating the ramen, the Japanese noodles ramen, or any noodles. The Japanese people make a slurping sound where when they eat it, they're like.
That's true.
And I've heard different reasons as to why they do it.
So what are the reasons why they do it?
I heard one reason was because if you bring it in with cool air, then it cools down the noodles or the soup or the hot soup.
And the other reason is?
What was the other reason? The other reason was if you make that sound, it's sort of a way of telling the chef that it's delicious.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
You've heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I'll have to ask a few more Japanese people just to see which one is right.
If given a chance, what else do you want to do here in Japan?
What else do I want to do here? Well, my wife and I did have a private English school, which we closed probably about 2 years ago. We had that for 7 or 8 years, I think.
7 or 8 years.
Yeah. So after we finished work, we had students coming to where we rented a place downstairs from where we were living upstairs. Rented a place, and the students came, adults and like the junior high school kids and younger kids too, primary school kids, elementary school kids. They came and we did private lessons with them. So that was sort of a good experience having having our own business here.
Don't you want to do it again? I mean, you already have your own house now.
Yeah, we were thinking about it, but we've sort of done that. So it would be good to start something up. I'm not quite sure. Been thinking about a few things. We'll see. As for travel, the places I haven't been yet. I haven't been to Hokkaido, which is the top island. I haven't been to Okinawa or
go there too.
Shikoku, which is the other island, which is down south next to Kyushu, the smaller island. So those are some places I want to go to.
Okay. Difference between Japan and New Zealand.
The difference. Well, the big one is the population, because New Zealand and Japan are roughly about the same size, right? The country's the same size, but in Japan there's 130 million, and New Zealand there's about 5 million.
5 million?
Yeah. So, of course, the population, I was surprised that everywhere is crowded in Japan, and we don't really have trains in New Zealand because there's not enough people to have the train system.
Do you want to live here or do you want to live in New Zealand?
I'm sort of open to living anywhere, but just with the last few years, with all the prices have gone up so high. But I mean, if you're talking about the way of life, I mean, New Zealand's obviously a great country too.
Really?
I think, and Australia, of course, they're two countries that are known for their great living standard, and they're fun. And New Zealand has a lot of outdoor. People do things outdoors like fishing and hiking and adventure sports and camping and stuff like that. So, I'm not sure.
I heard that Australia is a good country. It's just that the cost of living is too high.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Australia is really good too. Of course, the weather's perfect, and you're always close to the beach. And
beach with the T or CH?
The CH.
With the CH. Okay. The beach with the T.
The beach.
Okay, now let's talk about the Philippines. You've been to the Philippines plenty of times. So, what can you say about the Philippines?
I was thinking how many times I've been. Must have been 4, 5, 6, maybe 5 or 6 times. I think I've been to the Philippines. Yeah, no, it's great over there. Yeah, you all know. Yeah, it's always great. It's always warm, and there's lots of things to do. Of course, Manila. We've been to where else? Boracay.
Boracay. You've been to Boracay.
I've been to Boracay. That was great.
Great.
Yeah. Went there for a week or two, at least. That was great. There's some great places. I hear there's like 7,000 islands or something.
Yeah, 7,000 plus islands.
Yeah.
And how about the Filipino people? What can you say about the Filipino people that you've met in the Philippines?
I've met in the Philippines. They're always really nice. A lot different to Japan, because sort of when you meet Philippine people, they're always really friendly. Whereas Japanese people it takes time to get to know Japanese people. The Philippines people, if you have like a beer or something with them or something to eat straight away, you sort of feel like your best friends. So they're friendly, kind, and generous too. Yep, and of course everyone's always singing and dancing.
Filipinos like singing. Have you tried videoke in the Philippines?
Tried what?
Videoke. Karaoke.
Videoke. No, I haven't, because I don't sing.
You don't sing. Right? Filipinos like to sing.
Yeah, I know. My wife used to be a band singer. Yeah. She sings all the time. But yeah.
Okay, and could you tell us about the exotic foods that you have tried in the Philippines?
Exotic foods?
Like balot, something like that.
Yeah. Because I know the place where we're staying, they had a little stall out the front, and it had the balot, the little chicken. and I would go out to the I'd walk out and go past it to go to the 7-Eleven to buy some Red Horse. And every time I'd go past, the guy would say, "How about the balot? How about the balot?" And I'd say, what's it in Tagalog? I'd say,
Bukas na lang.
Is it tomorrow?
Bukas tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd say every time bukas, because I was a bit scared to eat it because I love chicken, but I was just scared to eat that because it's. So I was waiting until one time I'd had maybe about 6 or 7 or 8 Red Horses, then I was going to try it, but yeah, I never got round to trying it.
I think you should try it.
So I haven't tried it yet.
It's delicious. My wife tried it.
Yeah,
And she said it's delicious. It was delicious.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's her being Japanese too. I would think she wouldn't like it.
Yeah. When my brother came to visit me here in Japan, I told him to bring me some balot because I will give it to you.
You can bring it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she was able to try it, and she said, "Yeah, it's delicious." Yeah, so you should try it too.
Yeah.
I know, Jay. You have your own house here in Japan.
Yeah.
You already have your own lot in the Philippines, house and lot in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And you also have a house in New Zealand.
No.
You don't have
Don't
a house.
have a house in New Zealand.
So here in Japan, only in Japan and in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So where do you plan to retire?
Ooh, tricky question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in New Zealand up until I was about 17. Then I moved to Australia, lived there for about 6 years. Then went back to New Zealand for a couple of years. Then I've been living in Japan the rest of the time. So I probably paid most of my pension in Japan, I think. But also we just bought some not just, but 2 years ago or something, bought some beach land near Manila somewhere. So hopefully, we could keep this as a holiday house and maybe retire in the Philippines even.
Yeah, because it's cheaper in the Philippines, right?
Yeah. Depending on how it works with getting a visa for me there, or I guess I can get that, I suppose. So
I think it's possible.
How about yourself? What are you thinking?
I want to retire in the Philippines. I don't want to retire here because it's for me. Because I'm Filipino, I came from the Philippines. I mean, I came from a very jolly country.
Yeah.
I think it will be difficult for me to get old here. I mean, I want to retire in the Philippines. You have the, what do you call that? You have the freedom for everything.
It's a little bit restricting here. Because people sort of act differently. I mean, not everyone, but it's sort of you sort of feel like you belong where you're from. Of course, being in Japan, you always feel like you're an outsider. A foreigner.
But I think it's about to change.
Because
the new generation is already.
Could do. So we'll just wait and see what happens. But for us, we've got New Zealand, Australia, Philippines, or Japan. So we've got some options. So we'll just see what happens in the years to come.
Let's cross the bridge when we get there, right?
Same as you can do.
Jay, do you miss your family?
Of course I do. But I sort of try to get back every couple of years at least. I've been back. My father's just passed away a couple of years ago, but I had to go over and see him about 3 times during the coronavirus, the bad time. Had to go and do the isolation over there. So of course you miss your family, but you know, you can catch up every now and then. And been to my mother's in Australia and sisters in Australia too. So I've been there, as I said, just last month. So seen them, and my mother and father have both been over here on separate times. So but of course you miss them, but it's sort of good having your own space and type thing a little bit. You don't want to sort of be together sort of every day. A lot of
that's your culture, right? Because in our culture we usually live together.
Together.
Usually with our parents.
I hear in Japan too, some people were living with their mother and father until they're like 45 years old or something. So
it's also very common in the Philippines.
Okay.
Jay, how well can you speak Japanese?
So I've said I've lived in Japan on and off for close to 20 years, I think now. I don't study. I don't study Japanese. Of course, when I first came to Japan, I studied a little, like the basic writing.
Yeah, just like what I did.
Yeah, and simple phrases. But I've never been to like a school and studied Japanese. Or a lot of people that come to Japan have studied at university back home.
Yeah.
Sort of majored in Japanese. Some of the people that are here can speak Japanese well before they get here. But I didn't do it that way. So I just learned, sort of pick up things along the way. So I can speak, sort of, I can be understood and I can understand.
So conversational level.
Yeah, conversational level to a certain amount. But once you get too deep into a conversation, you're like, oh, what?
It's not that easy, right?
No,
to learn Japanese.
No,
right?
not that easy. Of course, if you're with the job that I do, some of the schools ask you don't speak Japanese, or tell you don't speak Japanese at the school, so because they want you speaking English all the time.
Yeah, and that's the reason why you don't learn, right?
Yeah, and sort of after work, if you go to a convenience store or a supermarket, if it's in New Zealand or somewhere, you'll start a conversation with the staff, like, oh, how's it going? And good, how was your day? Things like that. What are you doing on the weekend? Yeah, it's more friendly. But in Japan, you can't sort of.
There's nothing like that.
You can't ask someone like how are you, because they'll be like,
so I agree with that.
You're a strange foreigner asking a really
I don't know you.
asking a really personal question.
Okay.
So sort of you don't really get the chance unless you go out, maybe out drinking or something. Then you can you can sort of get the chance, or if you have Japanese friends and
Okay.
But
done, Jay. We're done.
Yeah, that's about it, I think.
Okay, and that's it for Jay. Now you know my friend Jay.
Yeah.
Jay, you can call him JJ.
JJ.
So I hope I know we can meet in the Philippines.
Of course, yeah. Yep.
So we can have a good time there.
Well,
because in the Philippines we can drink and drive, unlike here.
Oh, right.
Right.
Okay.
So we are very restricted here.
We'll go and load up on some Red Horse. And what's the other stuff in the bottle? That big bottle. I remember.
Gin.
Drank. No.
Beer.
No, it's like not whiskey. What is it? In the big glass
Emperador.
bottle. Emperador.
Have you tried Emperador?
Yeah.
It's pretty strong, right?
I remember I drank that one time and crashed out on the sofa at the next door neighbor's place because we're all drinking, and then Mercy's father, my wife's father, was like had to carry me back into the place because I drank too much of it. Yeah, that's good.
I think Red Horse is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was young, I used to drink what they call that, Emperador.
Okay. Yeah.
And also gin.
Yeah.
We just put lime in it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to go back there anymore. Don't want to do it again.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to do that in the Philippines sometime.